fly away. Here at Outlander Travel, we're passionate about, well, travel. Throughout the years, we've seen many changes to the industry, but one thing that has stayed the same is the urge to explore our world and make the connections that can only be made through experience. My name is Sandy, and this week I'm joined by fellow Outlander travel agents, Laura, Donna, and George. And we are on YouTube now. So if you're watching us, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. You may have not heard of Celebrity Cruises unless you're a regular cruiser or you listen to this podcast. They're part of the Royal Caribbean family and a step up from the Royal Caribbean brand. Donna was fortunate enough to be invited to a seminar at sea with CLIA and Celebrity Cruises, and she's here tonight to tell us about her experience. So let's get started. So Donna, I guess since we threw out the industry term CLIA, maybe you should first explain what that is.
Yes. So CLIA is the world's largest cruise industry trade organization, and it provides a unified voice and a leading authority of the global cruise community. CLIA supports the policies and practices that foster a safe, secure, healthy, and sustainable cruise ship environment and is dedicated to promoting the cruise travel experience. So now we have the boilerplate out there.
And they have been really instrumental too in the return to cruising. I know that
they have, yes. And Charlie Sylvia, who is actually the vice president of CLIA, was on board and explaining kind of how they operate. And it was really quite fascinating. They've been instrumental in keeping ports open and getting senators to let the return to sail come out. And it was a grassroots effort on the behalf of lots of travel advisors to get the cruise ship industry actually moving.
So what's their partnership with Celebrity?
So Celebrity is actually one of their members. And so they have, CLIA actually does two things. They one of the big things is they help with policy. So they work with senators and things like that. They work with all of the different, or most of the different cruise lines, especially the big ones that you've heard of. And they actually do those. They do have some kind of partnerships and everything. And Donna Ritzenthaler, who is actually the vice president of Celebrity Cruises, came up with a brilliant idea to invite CLIA certified members and accredited counselors on board and check out the cruise ship and get a little taste of Celebrity as well as get a little training.
So you were invited on this because you had completed the CLIA training.
Yes. That was one of the requirements, and then you also had to sell Celebrity Cruises as well.
So we mentioned in the intro that Celebrity is under the big Royal Caribbean International brand. So yes. Can you talk a little bit about how Celebrity compares? Because I think we talk a lot about Royal, and we know it's a great family brand, and there's going to be Flow Rider on board and rock climbing wall and that kind of stuff. So how does Celebrity differ from Royal?
Well, Celebrity basically is it's quite a bit more upscale. But not quite the luxury brand where you have a butler waiting on you all the time. The food quality is higher. The entertainment is actually a little more sophisticated. It does have a kids club, so kids are invited and everything to be on board. But there's not as much outdoor activity. So they don't have rock walls and they don't have flow riders and they don't have those kinds of activities. But what they do have is actually a smaller ratio of advisors to children. And so with a smaller ratio, they get more one-on-one attention. And then on top of that, they also, most of what they're doing is also STEM oriented.
Oh, I didn't realize that. That's cool.
Yes. So, they have scavenger hunts throughout the ship. And so they'll say, okay, well, you've got to go find, the theater and go sit in one of the chairs and talk to somebody. And they might have one of the entertainers come out and talk to the audience and all. Not during show times, but just for the kids.
Right.
We were lucky enough to actually meet the captain of the ship. He came out and actually did a Q&A with us, as well as the hotel manager. So they really got to talk about the ship and the return to sail and how they are actually making sure that we are safe and happy and well fed and having a good time.
So what are the COVID protocols for Celebrity?
Celebrity requires that you wear a mask indoors. But outside, if you're on the deck or whatever, you do not have to have one. So we did have some cocktail parties up on the deck, and we did them specifically on the deck so that we didn't have to wear masks. But they do require that you wear them inside. Also, you don't have to test at the port. And so we asked why they're doing it that way. They wanted to create a better experience for you getting on the ship. Because right now with some lines, you're getting on the ship and it takes you 2 hours to get on board, and you're sitting there waiting in the waiting room, and they wanted to avoid that. So they actually asked that you test 2 days in advance, and they do accept the antigen test, which is only a 15-minute test. And I did mine online. I basically logged into the system, did my test, sat there for 15 minutes, let it marinate. And then they came on board and looked at it and go, oh, yep, okay, you're negative, and signed off on it. And that was acceptable.
Did you order it through them?
I did. That was one of the really cool things that Celebrity offered, is you could order tests. And I ordered a few extras. I will be honest with you.
Royal does that too. I remember some other agents.
So, I mean, when we have to go on cruises, or I'm going to be traveling later in the year, I've got 11 more to go.
Wow. That's good. I mean,
just in case.
Stock up. Yeah.
Well, that, and also if clients need them and it's last minute and they can't find one, well, you know what? I've got a couple right here.
That's been coming up. I mean, the testing has gotten harder. I hope it's starting to get easier, because I feel like we're
out of the holidays. I think that makes a difference too.
It was really crazy. All right. So you were on the Millennium.
Yes.
That is not one of the newer ships though, correct?
No, it is not. It's actually about 22 years old. And they did go through a major refurbishment and just came out of dry dock. And that's actually why they planned this. They had not planned on, it came in a week early.
Nice.
And they said, oh, well, it's going to be here a week early. We don't know what to do. So we're going to create this little 4-day cruise, 3-day cruise, go out, we're going to go to the Bahamas, come back. Perfect opportunity to get a little short one in, test everything out.
You gotta love travel agents that'll travel at the drop of a hat. Totally.
But yeah, they knew 6 months ago that it was going to come out early.
Nice.
Celebrity did, and they were like, okay, what do we do?
Did they? Was it open to the public too?
It was.
Okay.
So the ship holds about 2,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
There are 700 staff on board. And we only had 450 people total. Wow. And 100 of them were travel agents.
Yeah, I believe it.
So it was like having your own private yacht.
Nice. So
one of the things, I have clients who love Celebrity, and one of the things they love about Celebrity is afternoon tea. Did they do afternoon tea on this ship?
I didn't see it, but I'm sure they do. I didn't see it. They had so many wonderful desserts. Oh my gosh. I walked in and, creme brulee is my favorite. And they had a creme brulee bar. They had 10 different kinds of creme brulee on the dessert bar.
Wait, I thought gelato was your favorite.
No, creme brulee is my favorite.
Okay.
But they had gelato too. So what was interesting is the gelato in the Ocean View Cafe, which is kind of the buffet. And it's run cafeteria style. They're not actually letting you handle the food. The gelato in there doesn't cost anything, but if you go to the coffee shop and have gelato at the coffee shop, it costs extra.
Okay, good to know. So I'm kind of jumping around on your notes here, but you put on here that they have Le Petit Chef, and I know that was one of the new things on the Edge and the Apex, the newer ships. So are they kind of bringing that to the other ships too? Can you talk about that one?
I had that. That was
nice.
That was the one thing that I'm like, this is what I'm doing. I
Yeah.
mean, I didn't want to do anything on board or anything else on board except go to Le Petit Chef. And it's really, really, really cute. They make your dinner and they have 4 little chefs and they've got 4 different courses. And they've got a Spanish chef, an Italian chef, a French chef, and a Japanese chef.
So we should clarify for people who can't watch this, that it's a projection on the table, right?
It is a projection on the table. And so the little tiny chef comes out on your plate and starts like, chopping vegetables or whatever, and has a little grill and he's like throws the steak over. And the little French chef is so klutzy. He falls into the sauce and, he ends up getting out and like putting it across your plate. And yeah, it's
Nice.
And of course, all the other little chefs are sitting around watching him and laughing at him.
And then they put down the food and it looks
They put
like
down the
what
food and
they
it looks
do.
exactly like what they just made. Yes, it is really quite entertaining.
Now that's a specialty dining?
It is a specialty restaurant. It was an additional $55 to do. And I was more than happy to pay it because like I said, I wanted to experience this.
Yeah.
The food was excellent. It was amazingly good.
Is there just
It
one
was very
menu?
gourmet. What? I'm sorry, Laura?
Is there just one menu?
There is. You don't get to pick anything. It's a set menu because they've got, the projection, you've got to it's got to make it on the plate.
Right.
So yes, it's a set menu. Now you can modify it slightly if you have allergies or things like that, but it is what it is.
So what was each course? Do you remember?
So the salad course was it was tomatoes and serrano ham and a little bit of arugula. Then you had the pasta course, which was a truffle ravioli, quite amazingly good. And then you had for the main course, it was a filet with pommes frites or French fries with a really, really wonderful creamy tarragon sauce that you dipped your French fries in. It was really good. And then for dessert was a matcha tart almost with matcha cream.
What's matcha?
It's green. I'm not quite sure what it is, but it's green.
Oh, like the matcha tea stuff that they.
Yes, exactly. Yes, just like matcha tea. Yes, it's the same ingredients. But
Did you like it?
I did. It was very light though. I expected more flavor, and it's actually very bland, but it was good.
Like a palate cleanser kind of thing?
It is. And then it had like white chocolate sticks on it too. And it went very well with the white chocolate.
Well, I'm not a fan of white chocolate, but I would try it.
I love white chocolate.
Really?
It was just little thin ones and you could not eat them if you didn't want to. But no, it was very good and really enjoyed it.
So what is included when you cruise on Celebrity?
So they have something called the Always Included, and you get the top 3 amenities that are actually included in your cruise fare. Number 1 is your gratuities. You don't have to pay extra for that. It's included in your fare. You get the surf Wi-Fi. I will be honest with you, the surf was not really adequate. It would get you to Facebook slowly. It would get you to Instagram slowly. But if you had to do any kind of work or anything, or you definitely needed the streaming package. So that was a little extra. I did pay extra for that. And then you get the classic beverage package, which includes your sodas, basic coffee, tea, the basic juices like orange juice, apple juice, and basic well drinks. So you could get like a rum and Coke, or you could get a margarita. But if you wanted anything fancy with any kind of a craft cocktail, it costs you anywhere from $1 to $5 extra.
So just the difference of what
the difference, yes.
That's not too
So
bad.
my
though.
martini was $5 and my Singapore sling was $5. And then I had a bottle I ended up getting a bottle of wine, but they discounted that as well. Because I had the beverage, because I had the always included package.
So can you book like a basic fare without the always included?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I think it's part of the deal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know they used to have 3 different levels, so this makes it easier.
Now there is another package even beyond that called the indulge package, and that gives you all your premium liquor and your
Okay.
wines and everything. I didn't go that far because, honestly, I don't drink as much as some people and didn't need it. So I just paid my little $1 here, my $5 here.
Yeah.
If there are people who really like specialty coffees, did you have to get the indulge for that?
No, there is a coffee package. You can actually get just a coffee package that includes that.
So what about so let's go back to the restaurants. You
Sure.
also talked about the Tuscan Grill. Is that another specialty dining?
It was a specialty dining restaurant. So we did, it's the Italian,
Mhm.
and they came out, and that one was about $45, and they came out and you could get 3 or 4 courses. So we got our beginning course, our appetizer course. I had calamari. It was, some of the best calamari I've ever had. Not rubbery at all. It was so fantastically good. And then we ended up getting an antipasti plate. So it had olives and cheeses and meats and fig jam and crackers and things like that you could it was basically made to share. And then we had our main entree. I had lobster rigatoni. And then for dessert, I had, what was it? Strawberry shortcake, I think.
I'm glad you did dessert every time.
Of course I do dessert. I don't pass up dessert. And I did get a bottle of wine. And like I said, so this was it was an Italian Montepulciano, and it was $30 for the bottle of wine.
I don't buy bottles of wine, so is that?
Well, I was splitting it with somebody, so.
Okay.
So.
I guess that sounds. What's that, George?
I bought 2 bottles on my last Royal Caribbean cruise, and they were both $30, so sounds pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
Now they had some that were $150 and $200, which I did not do that one.
Even with the
those would be more of an
20%
indulgence.
off.
Even with the they had some of them that were pretty pricey.
Yeah.
I just went for the $30 bottle.
You kind of mentioned your Singapore sling and your martini, but did you hit up all the bars for research purposes?
A little bit. So the Sunset Bar is amazing. That is, so it's at the back of the ship, and the sunset's, right as the sunset's going down. That's why they call it the Sunset Bar.
Yeah.
And they've got tables outside and everything. It was really, really nice. The martini bar, the top of the bar is all ice.
Ooh.
Oh, that's really cool.
So you can go in and you can actually carve your name in the frost on the ice, and this is your table. The martini bartenders are definitely the most animated of any of the bars. They were doing tricks. They were, he was doing martini glasses on his forehead. He was, filling them. They did this guy had a birthday, and they did 12 shakers, and he poured all 12 drinks at the same time into oh my gosh, it was so amazing. Yes. So, and they were definitely, that was the loud place to be in the evening, was the martini bar.
Did you go to any entertainment or anything like that?
No. That was my entertainment, sitting at the martini bar. And then at midnight I was like, I think it's time to go to bed.
But no music or anything like that? Anytime?
They had music play. They had the first night they had a DJ near the martini bar, and then the second night they actually had a little duo. Some girl, she was playing the ukulele, and the guy was playing a guitar. So there was some live music, and it was it was very low key and everything. So, but definitely the people around the martini bar were the most entertaining.
So you said you didn't go, but what kind of shows did they have in the main theater?
I don't know, because I didn't even look at it.
Like, yeah, it's like, that's
We
not
had
my
our dinner
bag. I don't want-"
reservations, and I wasn't gonna miss Le Petit Chef to go see the theater show.
And
So
that was a short cruise, so yeah.
it was very short. Yes,
And you went to Nassau? Is that where you were?
we did. I didn't even get off the ship, which was very interesting because I've never done that before. So so they actually had a full out drill with the staff.
Yeah.
While we were there, they had the fire crews going. They launched one of the rescue boats,
Oh,
and they
wow.
had it going in the ship channel. They had all the staff out there with their life jackets on and at their stations, directing traffic and everything. I've never quite seen that before, so it was very interesting.
And did you have to be part of that or no?
No, I was sitting in the hot tub watching all of this.
How was their muster drill? Because that's changed since COVID on every cruise I've been on.
They're doing so. When you get there, you go to the room and you drop your bags, which I like that better than Royal, because Royal made you take your bags to the muster station, but they let you come back to the room and you were supposed to watch the little safety video, and then you were supposed to listen to the emergency horn on your TV,
Mhm.
and then you go check in at the muster station. And they
Yeah.
basically said, do you know how to put on a life jacket? And you say, yes. And they're like, okay, give me your card. That's it. Schwip, you're gone. That was it.
I like this new way of doing it better than us all standing around for 30 minutes or something.
I
waiting
agree.
watch the thing.
Yes. I
'Cause it's
think
good. I mean, they know if you've done it or not. You have to check in. So
you have to check in,
like
but you
that.
also, I think they monitor the television set to see that you actually watched the little safety
Yeah.
video. So,
Yeah, they can tell. Yeah.
and they will hunt you down if you don't,
Oh yeah.
don't
they'll,
do it,
They'll
so.
announce you over on the loudspeaker and stuff. That's cool. So is there anything else that you'd like to mention that we didn't touch on?
I wanted to talk about the Ocean View Cafe, which is the buffet. So we did have dinner. We had breakfast in the buffet every day, or actually we had one night in the dining room and one day at the buffet. I was really impressed by all the different cuisines. I've never seen Indian on a ship before, and they had a whole station with Indian food, and they also had a whole station that was good hearty like beef stew and things like that. So I mean, it was different kinds of foods that I'm not used to seeing on the buffet. I was really quite impressed with all the different variety, and especially, like I said, the desserts. They had lychee cake. I have never seen lychees anywhere on a ship, and they had a lychee cake, and they had a creme brulee stand, and one day they had trifles. They had
Oh, nice.
10 different trifles that you could.
And were the desserts good?
Oh my God, they were so awesome.
No? Were they?
Oh yes, very very indulgent.
Celebrity's a little bit of a foodie.
It is. I got that impression because they did have a sushi place. We didn't get to go there. We did go to the dining room for dinner, and we were in the dining room, and the meal with air was definitely not ordinary either. I had beef Wellington and a lobster tail, and it was probably one of the best beef Wellingtons I've ever had.
So the lobster wasn't extra?
It was not extra, but it was tiny. I want to say it was maybe an ounce, maybe 2. But of course, you could have asked for, 5 more.
Nice. All right. Well, that's awesome.
How was your room? Your cabin?
The room, I was in a balcony cabin, but we did get to actually tour the suites as well. The suites they have a soaking tub on the outside, out on the balcony.
Oh,
They
that's
also
nice.
have a separate living area and a separate bedroom, and then they have a walk-in closet.
I think the suites have a butler too. I know you mentioned
They
before.
do. Some
Yeah.
of them do. Some of them do.
I had a honeymoon couple in Alaska that
They have a concierge.
Awesome.
Well, they have 2 different classes of suites. They've got a concierge class, so you get a private concierge and everything, and then they've got the really big monster royal suites, and those are the ones you get the butlers with.
Well, and I think we should also mention, well, you guys might not realize this, but Amy, who's one of our agents who has been on the podcast once or twice, loves Celebrity. And when her kids were little, I've thought about this whenever you were talking about the kids club. They loved it. They really liked it. I don't think she ever told them other cruise lines existed.
Well, one of the things I really liked, I've been on lots of cruise ships, and most of the showers are these little round, stalls almost.
Yeah.
This basically took up one complete side of the wall. So,
like
and
big
it was
enough for
a glass
bathtub?
shower, so you could walk in and everything. It may not have been bigger than, say, a Royal Caribbean or a Carnival, but it seemed that way just because of the shape of it and because it was clear glass. The cabinets were clear glass again, so you could kind of see through them. They had plenty of USB outlets, plenty of outlets.
Nice.
I was actually, and the pillows, the pillows. They were not feather pillows. They were actually stiff enough for me. I was so impressed with the pillows. I'm like, this works.
Nice.
Yes, Celebrity's a great brand for accessibility too, especially the Edge class ships, but they're a great
Yes.
for accessibility and tend to, outside of Princess, tend to have the most accessible excursions
Oh,
available,
nice.
and not just excursions that are kind of like drive-bys, but they do a really great job with accessibility.
I got the impression that they kind of did, because they really were making the cabin we saw was an accessible cabin, and they had ramps out to the balcony, even though there's a lip so that the water doesn't, if you do get water in, but there was a ramp, and you could get your wheelchair over the ridge.
All right, awesome. Well, that is our show for this week. Thank you for hanging out with us. Please like our Facebook page, rate us, and be sure to tell your friends about us. You can find our previous episodes on the podcast page of outlandertravel.com, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And be sure to look for us on YouTube by searching for Flyaway Podcast. Like, subscribe, and tell your friends about us. We would love to hear from you. On behalf of Donna, George, Laura, and myself, Sandy, thank you for joining us this week. Gotta fly.